Self-improvement is dead. Self-improvement remains dead. How shall we console ourselves, murderers of all murderers? I was cursed from adolescence with the brainworm of needing to find the best way of doing just about anything before actually starting the undertaking. This brainworm grew and grew and grew until it turned its gaze upon life itself. The promise was, if I can figure out the best way to live, then I can finally start doing it and do it right. Pure poison. I played myself with this hoe-ass mindset, and maybe you did too. Thus, we need a wholesale reconfiguration of the entire self-improvement framing. The current ideological underpinnings of the self-help movement are untenable and gay. In this video, I'm proposing an ideological shift or a return from self-improvement to cultivation. This shift is needed for three reasons: self, seed, and spirit, or service. Number one, self. The framing of self-improvement naturally centers the self or the individual, and for this reason it fails from the get-go. Centering the self neglects the true reality of the human organism's existence in and reliance upon webs of relationality. We don't produce the food that we eat, we don't build the houses that we live in, and we don't pave the roads that we drive on. Yet somehow, when it comes to improving, we're suddenly wrenched from our webs of relationality, placed into the container of the self, and left to just flounder around by ourselves. And granted, you can do a lot inside of that container. There's a time and a place for grinding, fine. Paradoxically, any chance of going beyond, of improving past self-improvement, means that you have to leave this container of the self behind. A butterfly needs a cocoon, but it cannot stay there if it wishes to fly. Similarly, the self-improvement approach can only take a person so far before it's time to shed it. The frame of cultivation goes beyond this limitation by accurately locating the human organism within her webs of relationality. Cultivation recognizes that self-improvement does not serve only the self, but everything and everyone connected to it. A stronger lad is better equipped to help mom bring in the groceries, and a better listener becomes a healing container for her friends venting. Every improvement of the self is in actuality an improvement of the whole. Every improvement of the self is in actuality done with others, and also benefits others. This can be direct in the case of lifting with a buddy, or indirect in the sense that the gym that you lift in was not built by your own hands. Nobody's an island, and nobody exists without the grace of other people. Period. Nobody can improve themselves without a shocking amount of outside help. Self-improvement fails because it deludes us into thinking everything is within our own hands, when that is simply not the case. It can be a helpful delusion, but it must be outgrown in order to move further. Number two, seed. Self-improvement generally concerns itself with the fruit of the work. Self-improvement is goal-oriented, achievement-based, especially when it comes to the material and the external. Want a GF? Do some self-improvement and hit the gym. Want a good job? Grind studying. Want money? Do entrepreneur. Self-improvement often starts with and centers a goal, a fruit. And because self-improvement is really fruits-oriented, planting the actual seeds becomes a means to an end. Cultivation flips this to a seed-oriented framing. Cultivation recognizes that without good quality soil, water content, sunlight, a seed may not sprout. Cultivation also recognizes that no matter how many seeds are planted, a fruit is never actually promised. We cannot control the rain, we cannot control the bugs. A single human cannot make a fruit grow. All we can do is till the soil, prep the conditions, plant seed after seed after seed, and hope and pray that a fruit does grow. Cultivation hopes for fruit. It does not presuppose it. Cultivation is seed-obsessed and soil-obsessed. Cultivation centers the action that happens today rather than the fruit that might grow tomorrow. In the clearest, most lucid view, nothing else is promised, only the seed that is planted today. This relates to the first point, self, for when the soil is tilled as a whole, then all seeds have a better chance of growing together. Furthermore, if and when a fruit does grow, cultivation recognizes, as Heraclitus did 2,000 years ago, that the man that planted the seed and the man that enjoys the fruit are not the same man, just as a man cannot step in the same river twice. Meanwhile, self-improvement would have you planting seed after seed after seed after seed for what? The privilege of feeding some other dude fruit? Like he's a Roman emperor sprawled across a chaste lounge? Why are you as a man feeding another dude delicious, juicy, scrumptious, yummy fruits? The last point here is that fruit obsession is a crude fuel. It needs constant ideation, narratives, imagery, advertising to stay propped up. You would never grind for a Rolex if you weren't constantly reminded of them. Number 3, spirit/service. One question for self-improvers. What is it all for? You? Yourself? Some hazy idea of progress or optimization? Is that enough? Are you satisfied with that? The first part already proved that every fruit is to be shared by its nature, like it or not. The self-improvement framework is decidedly secular. Hypermaterialist and atheistic actors like Andrew Puberman, Sam Harris, Tim Ferriss dominate the space. Self-improvement, by centering self, naturally decenters spirit. The fruits are coveted rather than surrendered or shared. However, no matter how many delicious fruits you reap in this life, all will rot if you try to hoard them. There's so many more fruits than you can eat alone. All that remains is to share them, to offer them up. Cultivation leaves ample room for spirit. Self-improvement excludes it. Cultivation recognizes fruits as granted by a higher power, whether that's the universe, God, the Tao, Source, Shiva, interdependent origination. You did not grow the fruit. You danced with the powers that be and were lucky enough to exist at the right time and place for fruit to grow. Self-improvement praises the self for achieving. You put in effort at the gym. You did the cold showers. You are amazing. What fortitude. What an iron will. Cultivation praises the divine for her grace in delivering the fruit. Cultivation requires humility in recognizing that, yeah, while the self does act, it plays a very small role in creating whatever results come about. As an aside, self-improvement is also yang max to the fucking gills. Push harder, grind more, do more, push, 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 push. Cultivation recognizes the need for yin maxing. Naps, nourishing rest, calling your mom, doing the dishes. These are all acts of cultivation, yet they are not acts of self-improvement. There is an entire domain of wholesome, nourishing, blossoming actions that gets overlooked by self-improvement. The Huber-pilled man cell cannot for 1 second understand why someone would draw a pretty picture for no reason at all. Yet drawing a pretty picture for no reason at all is absolutely an act of cultivation. Take the cultivation pill. Become seed obsessed. Enrich everyone around you. Surrender it all at the feet of the divine or your community or your friends and family. Cultivation is not just an interesting mental exercise. It's a way forward in and of itself, seed-obsessed and communal. In order to put these ideas into practice and actually put my money where my mouth is, I organize these monthly cultivation groups of 4 to 6 people to get together, plant seeds of all kinds, dig into the soil, water it, till a bit, and so on and so forth. If that sounds interesting to you, there's a form in the description you can fill out. Free groups open up all the time as well, and it takes about 10 seconds to fill out.